Should we go live?
Let's do it.
Go live. Hello and welcome. How are we all doing? I hope we're doing absolutely wonderfully. We're here. BRL. Lovely stuff. I'm going to ask you, J Horse, can you just check the live to make sure you can actually hear me?
I can indeed.
You can indeed. Lovely
Oh
stuff.
no, no.
Oh,
Hold
no.
on. I'm just checking the live.
Oh. Obviously, I've got it on mute. Otherwise, that'd be very strange dynamic. Trying to hear myself over myself.
Say something exciting.
Ah!
Well, that's too exciting. I can hear you though. That came very loudly through my headphones, but we can hear you.
Right.
And we are here.
That means that we're all good to go. I hope that we're all doing very well. We are waiting. I think we're waiting for like one other person or something.
Looks like it, yeah.
It must be. We've got 19 drivers, so we must be waiting for one. Welcome. Bit different, bit new, obviously. We have now some nice title screens and some nice things here and there. This should be actually a pretty decent race. Belgium, Spa, of course, pretty special. There we go. Time is ticking down for us to get going. So you'll be joining us in just a sec on the screen. Other than that, how do you think quali's going to go?
I think it will be a good one. Belgium's definitely a tough track for quali. A lot of places to make mistakes, a lot of places to invalidate. So we'll see what the guys can do. We've had a couple good races here the last 2 seasons, so hopefully they can live up to what has come before.
Yeah, well, that's the plan anyway, isn't it? Either way, I know that we've changed our safety car. It's now set to standard rather than reduced. So
okay.
Safety car possibly a bit more likely than usual, which should be pretty exciting actually, because we've had a rather limited amount of safety cars so far, haven't we?
We have had, I believe, 0 in the last 3 races.
It's been very, very quiet for BRL.
It's been, I mean, I hate to use the word boring, but it's been tame. But yes, Belgium, I think last year we had, you'll know, you were commentating, I dare to say maybe 4 or 5 safety cars.
Yeah, I think it might have been 4.
We did most of our time weaving behind Bert Mylander. So hopefully, yeah, maybe a couple today, but not too much that it ruins the strategy and intrigue of the race as we head into qualifying.
Alrighty, and you join us in the pit lane waiting for a couple of drivers. All 19 drivers out of the 20 joining us today. The missing driver is in A. This is our lovely little game we like to play.
We are missing IRS Pink Eye.
IRS Pink Eye, who was driving in the
Ferrari, I believe.
Ferrari, yeah, by the looks of it. Aero Blake, the only Ferrari on the track. Let's have a little look at the standings. Oh, that was something I could have done.
Did you not do the standings?
No.
Oh no! I thought you had that all over.
Oh, that would have been great.
Oh well. Next week, guys.
Next week. Either way, we had Saudi Arabia last time out, and you'll know it was an all right race. Rick came across to win with Mr. Cookie in P. Oh no, that's driver standings, not race results. There you go. Prepared, so prepared.
Look at you go.
It's nice.
It was Lifeboat who won, was it?
Lifeboat won, yes. 31 points. Oh, Jesus Christ. He must have absolutely...
Grand Slam.
It was a Grand Slam, yeah. P2 was Pink Eye, who obviously isn't here. And then Bluebird was in P3, who's now... he is here today. He's in P10 at the moment, though that doesn't particularly matter, considering the fact no one set a time. Let's get a track map on. Let's say tyres. It's going to be softest, isn't it? Telemetry, no, so. Lap data. That's the one I want. Alrighty, so it is actually Ligona, that sim guy, out on track, first time round. He'll be the first driver to set a time, obviously considering he doesn't invalidate, though, let's be honest here, this is P4 in the championship at the moment. 68 points compared to Rick's 84. Do you think sim guy, knowing his, what could I say, reliability to show up, do you think he's sort of in with a shout of top 3 perhaps, maybe even a win in the championship?
I think he's in with in with a chance of winning the championship. I think out of all the guys on the field, he's probably the guy who has the most outright pace. But obviously, it is, as you said, the showing up and the keeping it facing in the right direction when he does show up that maybe is the problem for Sim Guy. But he'll be hoping to have a good race today because obviously he missed last week. He was, I believe, P2 in the championship, maybe only a couple points behind. But yeah, he'll be looking to claw back some of those points and get his third win of the season. I want to say he's had a good start apart from yeah, obviously not turning up last week.
Yeah. Well, here he is coming down the probably one of the most famous back straights in Formula One, down the Kemmel Straight and into the chicane. I can't lie, I do struggle with Spa corner names, mainly because I'm just not a fan of French. So I haven't learnt many of them. Only ones I really know are the Kemmel Straight, Eau Rouge, and Radion. This corner here, no name. Oh yeah, and Pouon down at the bottom.
Who I know Pouon, I don't know which one it is though.
I think it's the first of these like this double left-hander. I think the first one, or it's just like the two combined. I'm not quite sure. Either way. Then you got these like first chicane. It's pretty decent actually. I do quite like that chicane on this game. And then you go into this double right-hander, and whilst the double right-hander is fine, you've just got to be really careful on both exits really, because one exit and you're hitting the gravel trap and you're losing about 4 seconds. The other one, you're hitting a very, very close wall and you're losing a tyre. So you've got to try and, maximise your pace, but at the same time, don't go overboard. Otherwise, it's going terribly. Either way, he's coming in to the bus stop chicane for the final couple of corners of his lap. Obviously, hasn't invalidated, so he will set a purple time. And he's going to start at a 1:44 dead. Will be our first time on the board today. We've got an Aston Martin coming through next. That's Mal Threats. Across the line he comes. That's a 44.4. Oh, that's the starter lap. Alpine across the line next. That was Jimmy Jags. 2 seconds down. Hazard coming across 3/10 down. With the fastest sector 3 time. A Red Bull coming across the line. I think that was Tommy to start a lap. Bluebird coming around to start a lap. Henson, that's not. I think that was a Williams that's come in. That is Simon Barstfan in pit lanes. Do you know? I think I have a strange feeling that it's Simon Barstfan that has a penalty starting from the back today. Mr. Cookie across the line, 43.1. Jesus, that's fast in comparison.
That's a very good lap time.
That's a very strong lap time to start his qualifying session.
Considering last time and life.
Sorry, that's so close.
Yeah. Considering I think last time out the pole time was a 43.0, so they're right on it already. This is a track where the track evolution or whatever goes on during qualifying is pretty heavy, with obviously quite a few corners on the circuit. So yeah, they'll be looking to get into the 42s, which is some pretty rapid pace. And as we were talking about Sim Guy getting back into this championship, he's currently 9/10 down, so he really needs to pick up the pace on his second run. And yeah, see what the other championship contenders can do, because obviously we do have a very good championship going on at the moment. It's a BRL special where we have a nice fight going on. It's quite nice to see.
I mean, it's absolutely lovely to see. I don't know why we haven't had it the last 2 seasons. I couldn't possibly think why.
No comment.
But no,
it's lovely to see.
Yeah, at the top of the tables, obviously, as I mentioned before, it's Rick on 84. Mr. Cookies then 5 points down on 79. Our Henson's just 2 points below that on 78. Obviously, then it's a bit of a drop to that Sim guy who's on 68, but then he's also got Hazard that's 1 down on 67. So the top 5, whilst maybe a little bit split up here and there, it's still quite close racing. Bluebird just across the line there. Split Sim guy and Lifebouts 7/10 off the pace. So at the moment, Mr. Cookie and Lifebout looking very, very strong in comparison to the rest of the field. Our Henson Christ Cookie stop, you know what will happen. I'm guessing they might have that might be some sort of inside joke between them, or he'll just bottle it, one or the other.
He might bottle it, but I believe it is the lack of wins he gets from pole. I don't think he's ever won a race from pole around here. Or not around here.
I don't know. Well, he's won 2 races. Yes. Silverstone. Did he start pole Silverstone?
I blank Silverstone out of my mind, so I can't remember.
Oh, it was a pretty
He
dodgy
might have
race
done
for you,
actually.
wasn't it?
I had a horrible time. I think he
Yeah.
might have done actually, so I take that back. I'm sorry, Cookie.
Mm.
But yeah, he's looking very good at the moment. Obviously around here you can overtake. I hesitate to say 2 overtaking opportunities because obviously the back straight
I was about to.
there's
I
no
was going to say.
DRS.
I'd say 3 overtaking opportunities.
I'd say 3 overtaking
I would
opportunities.
say turn 1. If you get a good run out of the bus stop, you can get a move done in turn 1. I think it's turn 5 up at the end of the Kemmel Straight, and then into the bus stop chicane.
See, I'd only say there's really 1
Would you
because the
really?
turn 1. If you're being smart, I
Hmm.
believe the DRS. Yeah, it is the DRS detection point is after that turn,
Mm-hmm.
midway through the next straight. So if you're lining up a move, you're going to want to probably just hold off and get a good run out of that chicane. But we'll see what people do. And obviously the back straight, no DRS. Yeah, you maybe again want to set it up for the Kemmel Straight. I feel like the Kemmel Straight is where most of the action is going to happen. And obviously it's a very good overtaking. I can't speak today. Overtaking opportunity
Hmm.
into the. You're gonna have to go with the corner names. The
I know.
the
I know
right
it's
left
turn
at the end.
5. Yeah.
Turn 5. There we go. Yeah. So
Don't
we'll see
ask
what
me
happens
anything
there.
else.
That's it. I won't. Don't worry.
Well, we'll have a
Yeah.
little look earlier on because I won't lie. When I first got these screens in that you know about, the wet and dry, which no one else
Yeah.
knows, which is quite nice. I may have practiced it a little bit because it's quite quick that it goes by. So you will notice when they do appear, and they will appear, I will go rapid speed because the amount of information you need to get through in like 30 seconds is ridiculous. But
Well, you've got to get to David Croft standard, haven't you?
I know. Well, our Henson, another very strong driver in the championship at the moment. P4. Oh no. Oh, that's. Oh my god, I keep getting them the wrong way round. That was the race result. Either way, our Hanson coming across down the back straight into the bus stop chicane. Just let go by the what's that? The Aston Martin was just nice and relaxed. He's P3 in the championship right now. He's going to open DRS and he is going to come P3. There we go. That's exactly what I was hoping for. It's half a second, though, still away from Mr. Cookie. So Mr. Cookie and Lifebout still looking like they're in a league of their own. Rick as well, not come out yet. Interesting tactics from him.
Yeah, strange one for him. Maybe weather related in the race. Obviously, we don't know what the weather's going to be. I don't know why he'd be doing that, and I don't know why I've said that because it doesn't make any sense. But maybe he's doing that. Maybe he has been out and invalidated a lap, which we didn't see. But yeah, good for our Henson. Obviously, still 5/10 off the pace, but he's got himself up into this position in the championship by consistently picking up those top 5. No DNFs, no mistakes, just consistent points. So I don't think he'll be too displeased with that. But obviously, Lifebout and Mr. Cookie way out in front. And obviously, Lifebout is someone who is by 7th, 8th in the championship. But obviously, our Grand Slam winner last time out.
Mm.
So he'll be seeing if he can maintain a unlikely championship charge. Obviously, with the new point system, it is quite tough to bridge a big gap. But yeah, he's definitely got the pace, and he'll be hoping to carry through the momentum.
Now, this is really interesting. I was just taking a quick look on Race Director there as you were talking to have a little look at whether Rick's been out. It says, interestingly, that he's had 2 sets of soft tyres used. However, when I go into view lap times, it doesn't show me that there's an invalidated lap like it does for other drivers that have had invalidated laps. So I'm not too sure whether he has or not, because 2 sets of tyres would indicate, yes, he's been out, it went badly, he came back in again. Although perhaps he might have gone on an outlap, might have broken something and has come back in. I'm not too sure. But he's definitely not gone for a flying lap, but somehow has used 2 sets of tyres. So I feel like it kind of has to be just a very, very bad outlap for some reason.
Yeah, well, whatever what's going on, it's not great for him. Obviously, championship leader. So yeah, he'll be one to get out, probably put 2 runs in on the same set of tyres, which obviously the last set or the last run, you're going to be compromised with
Hmm.
more tyre wear. So he'll be anywhere in the top 10 now probably is good for him, and he can work his way up through the race. But we have had Sim Guy put it up into P3, only maybe 2 tenths behind the top 2, and
Yeah.
Bluebird has just done a fastest second sector, so we'll see what time he can post.
Oh, so yeah, just watching him. He's coming around the last couple of corners before he hits the bus stop. Traveling at over 200 miles an hour down there without DRS. Shows you just how ridiculously long that straight is for them to get up to those kinds of speeds. Well, Bluebird is going to come across the line, and it's going to be P4. It's an increase of just over half a second, and has put in an exact same time as that Sim Guy. So that Sim Guy and Bluebird on identical times. That Sim Guy stands higher because he set the time first. Our Henson in the chat saying, wet race, lads, by the way. Don't know when the rain will come, but it says it will. Oh,
Very exciting.
that throws a spanner in the works.
Certainly does. We'll see who's feeling confident around this track, because yeah, you've got to put in a pretty good time in qualifying around here. But obviously, if there's rain in the race, they're going to be compromising their setup. So the 43.1s that Mr. Cookie and Lifebout have put
Perhaps
in
they've got dry tire. They've got dry
exactly,
setups, perhaps, haven't they?
maybe not as positive as we on the outside think it is. Maybe they are going wrong with the setup, or praying the rain does not come, or there's only a little bit, we don't know. But yeah, this sets it up pretty well, and yeah, it's looking exciting. We're gonna have a great time.
Well, with that, it's not a whole lot of drivers out on track at the moment. I think a lot of people have sort of decided to say, you know what, let's hang back, let's wait to the very last second to get out on track and go for it. I'm a Wild Matt, didn't set a time in his out, so I think he had a penalty of sorts. I know someone did because I saw it in chat. I wasn't quite sure who.
I think it's I'm a Wild Matt.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Yeah. Obviously, he's DNF
He has
without
retired,
time.
yeah.
And I do think he went out for just an outlap, so he's locked in Parc Ferme. Hella High as well, just out on a lap. Not too... I'm pretty sure he's on a flyer. He's currently P7 at the moment, just over a second off the pace. So let's see, he's running in Sector 2 at the moment, and he's pulled off. He's backed off of the lap, so he'll be finishing off for a little bit later. Either way, we've got some drivers coming out onto track. The first of which being, I'm pretty sure it's Aero Blake, who'll be the first man to set his final lap time of today, and then it will be Mouth Threats, and then I think that's the other Alpine. That will be Jimmy.
That's Jimmy Jags.
Jimmy Jags, who's actually going to go before Mal by the looks of it. So we'll keep a hold of Aero Blake because he'll be the first man to come across. Other drivers, there goes the 2 Alfa Romeos, a Jackalacco and that Sim Guy together. Perhaps getting a little tow down the back straight or down the Kemmel. Could make quite a big difference around this track, having teammates that work together, couldn't it? Because you can really get sort of a very strong tow for a good section of this track, especially down this back straight without any DRS.
Yeah, you can gain good 2 or 3 tenths on your lap time if your teammate is kind enough to help you out, which it looks like Jacko is, because he is ahead of Sim Guy. Whether that's just timing, coincidence, or they are conversing and being good teammates, we'll find out in probably a minute's time. But yeah, that would be a wise strategy, especially for Sim Guy, who definitely needs, to be honest, needs the points of the pole at this point. He would dearly need those 2 points. So he'll be hoping, I guess, Jacko compromises his qualifying, although Jacko is doing very nicely up in P9 and less than a second behind.
Yeah. Even better than that, he's actually P6.
He's P6,
He's
is he?
P6.
I got that well wrong. And Pink Eye's just joined with 1 minute 28 to go,
so he won't.
Yeah, he might struggle to get a lap.
Yeah, considering the fact that our pole times are 43.
Yeah, he might have to,
and to get out on track.
Cut a few corners. But he will hopefully be in for the race. Obviously, it'll be 19th behind I'm a World Matt. And it looks like we have a Alpine.
That's Jimmy Jags at Radeon.
Jimmy Jags at Radeon, who has DNF'd, which is exactly where he DNF'd last time, I believe.
What a shock.
So good consistency from Jimmy Jags. Yeah, but
top
lads coming out Sorry, go on.
So I just wanted to say, notably, I think McLaren are up to the same kind of idea because Blair is sitting a lot higher. And oh, what's happened there?
Sim guy
That's Sim
has
guy that stopped
spun.
behind.
He spun on the start of his lap. So before he's even crossed the line, he spun. He might get away with it because it's a very short run to the first corner. So maybe a tenth, 2/10.
Also, notably, that'll push Rick to directly behind him. So that Sim guy and Rick are basically going to come across the line at about the same kind of time. Our first man to go and set a lap was Aero Blake, and he's coming around the final corner at the bus stop chicane. Gets the power down well, and into DRS he goes. And it's 7/10 improvement. That is up to 7th place. That's a very, very strong start for him. It's going to be Tommy next. Coming across the final corner once again, and that is qualifying officially over. Anybody that crosses the line now is done. Tommy goes P9 after that, and it's going to be, I think that's Hazard next. It is. He goes P7. Pushes Aero Blake down to 8. And next up here, I think, is Simon Barsfan. No, it's not. It's another driver. Who was it? It was Henson. Henson.
Lifeboat was spun. It's the turn 5. So that's his chance of a pole gone. And that was looking really good for him because Mr. Cookie, for some reason, has retired from the session. And finished,
he stayed in. I don't think he came out. Either way, I think, who's that? That is Jackalacco, who's just about to come across the line. He's next up. And then it's a Haas of either Berger. I think it's Berger next. Well, Jackalacco stays in P6. Bergen across the line next. And then it is Blair, who will come across next. Bergen also stays P13. Blair's up next. Let's see how he gets on. Henson set an equal time. Blair up to P8. That Sim guy crosses the line. Does improve, but nowhere near enough. And Rick only goes P7.
Watch out for Bluebird. 10th and a half up. See if he can.
He could pull this off. No. He loses a lot of time in the third sector and stays P3. So he did go up a position. Forces that Sim guy down onto P2. So he stays on the second row. But just that little bit further back. Bluebird improving himself. And Mr. Cookie getting away with murder here. He's managed to get himself in pole position by 0.013 seconds. That is probably one of the closest qualies we've had, isn't it? I wouldn't say maybe it's not the closest, but it's definitely one of the closest pole shootouts.
Yeah, he's getting away with murder or master strategy. I'll let you decide on that one. But he cut it fine there, but he got away with it. And he'll be lining up at the front of the grid, which he did last year. So he'll be hoping to maybe have a better race than he did last time. I think he came. Well, he DNF'd, didn't he?
Yeah.
So redemption day maybe for Mr. Cookie, and who is looking pretty in the Drivers' Championship at the moment, which is not something we often say about Mr. Cookie. So he's season 3, looking to finally make a title charge.
Well, Mr. Cookie definitely thinks it's getting away with murder because he says this race is going to be a certified bottle now. With that, let's do the quick rundown. Mr. Cookie in P1 and Lifebelt P2. Bluebird P3, Sim Guy P4, Henson P5, Jackalacco P6, Rick P7, Hazard P8, Blair P9, Aerolate P10, Hella High 11, Tommy, Mouth Threats, Bergen, Smithy, Essex Berry, Simon Barsfan, Jimmy Jags, Pink Eye, I'm a Wild Matt. Finishes the list.
1 second to go. Look at you.
The second to go. It's almost like I have practiced that for way too many races.
No, many days in front of the mirror practicing 20 drivers in a row.
Yeah. Some just random PSN names that I've grabbed from last night's whatever.
Well, it's paying off because that was beautiful. And you've now got me really excited for the race. Now I can't wait. Especially with the threat for drivers and maybe the promise of rain.
It's rain! It's rain!
Happy days.
Right. Well, with that, let's take a little look. Here we are in Spa-Francorchamps for the Formula 1 Belgium Grand Prix of 2022. Let's take a little look at the weather conditions, but I don't think you really need to look much further than this. It is wet. It is very, very wet indeed. Other than that, it is a 7.004 kilometre track with 19 turns, 2 DRS straights with 2 detection points. and with good overtaking opportunities into turn 5 especially, win this wet weather, possibly into the bus stop chicane as well. With that, let's take a little look at the formation lap. Right, well, here we go. We're on the formation lap. You join us once again as the drivers have just got underway. And that is, without a doubt, that was perfectly timed, I can't lie. Just as they pull away.
I was watching that on stream, and that was beautiful.
Well, here we go. Drivers starting on intermediate tyres, so it's not full wet weather. But pretty good. So obviously no DRS with this wet weather. Which kind of opens the door for the bus stop chicane to be an overtaking opportunity, doesn't it?
Yeah, no DRS, so the straights are, I don't want to say off limits, but a lot harder. Heavy braking zones into, bus stop chicane, and I guess turn 5 will probably be a good opportunity. So we'll see what the boys can do. And obviously, around here, there is a lot of DRS, recuperation. So these guys are going to have a lot of DRS to play with. Obviously, in the wet, you gain a lot more. So it's going to be a lot about where you use it, when you use it, how you save it up. So it should be interesting, and throws a little bit of spice into the race that we've been missing in the last couple of events.
Yeah, well, I was actually correct in saying it's not the closest. In fact, it's the second closest pole shootout.
Can I guess when the closest was?
You can indeed.
Was it last year in Italy?
It was not.
When was it?
It was you. You were involved in it. It was you and Mr. Cookie. Singapore, season 1, 0.002 of a second.
0.002 of a second? Did you go through all the races and check?
No, Mr. Cookie sent a message.
Oh, okay. Cheers, Cookie. So Mr. Cookie, whilst taking pole, has time to go through and check.
Yeah.
Or he just has not a lot going on in his life and has it off the top of his head. Either way, thank you for that.
Very helpful.
Either way, it was a very close qualifying session, and hopefully it's that close in the race.
Well, speaking of, a lot of people are quite nervous. Are you expecting a certain Eau Rouge and Radion to cause a problem? Lap 1, rain, packed grids. Are we going to see a replay of, what was it, 1998 or 6?
Oh, Lord knows. Lord knows. Hopefully not. I know the one you're on about. Hopefully not. Depends. Obviously, first lap, you can either be super cautious or you can take
sorry, that was pink eye the wrong way round coming out of the final corner of bus stop.
Very impressive. Hopefully they keep it clean. Hopefully they take it a little bit easy on the first lap, and I believe we're about to get underway. So
we are indeed. Well, let's get ready to go. There we go, swapping in nicely. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and we are away after a pretty decent stop. And Mr. Cookie gets off to a very mess start, and I think Lifebout is going to get him round the outside, and Bluebird's going to launch it down the inside to possibly overtake both of them. Well, Lifebout runs out very wide, and Mr. Cookie retakes the lead. Lifebout does however manage to sneak it round into P2, but I think, oh god, Bluebird's gone up the inside at Eau Rouge there. Very impressive from him. And I don't think many more people are going to risk going that way through Eau Rouge. That Sim guy also right on the back of Lifebout. Can't overtake at the moment, and that is a couple drivers out of the race. And there we go. We all stop. Mr. Cookie does remain in the lead, as that is a VSC.
Just a VSC.
Well, did you see what happens?
I didn't. I saw that it was Era Blake and Jimmy Jags at the back who have caused that. Jimmy Jags is out, unfortunately. Again, DNFing at the exact same place. He loves that. So that's a shame for him. Obviously, one of our favourites in the commentary booth. But looking further down the field, we've had Mal Threats who's jumped up 5 places, which is really good from him. And Simon Bartafan who's jumped up 6 places. And obviously now the guys will just stick to the Delta, keep it clean, keep it out of the curbs, because they're pretty dangerous around here, especially in the wet. And get underway shortly.
Well, let's hope for that to be the case. Well, we should be getting underway soon. Jimmy Jags crying in chat, which I'm honestly not surprised about. And Hella High, what's happened to Hella High? I think he's had a collision with SX Perry, which has caused him to DNF out of the race. He is just off the track. down there after Puon. So I'm not quite sure what's happened there between him and Essex. You shouldn't expect really any kind of anything. Either way, we are under green flags once again, so that's not going to be a problem for the racing. Lifeboat under quite a lot of pressure from that sim guy now as we head into the bus stop chicane. I think he could possibly go for it. I think he is going to hold back though they get very close and they have collided. From second to fifth there, Bluebird to our Henson have all made collisions with one another. So that possibly could be a couple of yellow wings up at the front of the grid. Well, I think that is going to be Jackalacco who's going to go down the inside of our Henson here at turn 1. He does get the move made. However, our Henson could still have a moment of rest right here. No, he has been fully overtaken, and that sim guy is still right on the back of Lifeboat. Either way, Alfa Romeo in a really, really strong position right now. Predicted pit stop strategies. It's a 1 or a 2 stop. I'm probably going to guess a 1 round here. Sort of the pit stop is quite long. I mean, other than that, is sort of quieting down up at the top here. Or maybe Rick is going to go around the outside here at our Henson. He does manage to get himself in front for a brief moment there. However, does concede the position eventually. Does hold in 7th place for now. Drivers moderately spread out here at the top. It's kind of close enough to be interesting as to whether a little mistake can make a big old difference for you. But at the same time, I don't think many people can overtake in this wet weather.
No, looking like a bit of a challenge so far. Obviously, Mr. Cookie has broken that, DRS range. Obviously, there's no DRS, but always good to get out of that second. And I believe...
Lifeboat's going for it.
Is a Lifeboat going for it?
He was. He's conceded his position now.
Pushing Bluebird round.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so showing that Lifeboat's carrying through that quali pace. And I was about to say that our Henson looked like he had damage, because I think he lost... maybe a couple of positions, but he is back up and running and looking to overtake Jackalacco for P5, who is dropping off the back of that sim guy. So it looks like we have a top 4 forming at the moment. Obviously, all 4 of them, sorry, in the championship fight. And it looks like we have had Aeroblake spin at, is it Puon? Have I messed up? Radion? No.
Puon, if you look on the mini-map, Puon's like left of where number 2 is. Where second sector is kind of shown.
Okay, well, I'm sorry to all the Belgians out there for butchering that, but I'm not particularly good. And it looks like
Rick and Blair are having a little battle here.
They're having a bit of a scrap, which is, you'd think maybe they would be working together. Obviously, Rick is in the championship fight. RJ Blair not so much, as Marthretz looks like he's got past Hazard for P9.
Lifeboat spun it. He spun it up Eau Rouge. So he's going to drop possibly down to P15, maybe? No, P12, I reckon. Because Mercedes Smithy should get past there. Yes, he does. And Rick's managing to go round the outside of our Henson at turn 5. Turn 6, he's got the inside line. Turn 7, our Henson will have it. And he tries to keep his nose in here. But I think Rick will probably have it on the exit here. Yes, he does. Rick moves up to P5 there after sort of really stretching out that battle a little longer than he needed to. Couldn't quite get on the power through the chicane enough to get himself past through one corner. Either way, Rick up into P5, though our Henson isn't going to give up that easily. He's still staying pretty close. That sim guy is still moderately sort of close to the back of Bluebird, though Mr. Cookie ever extending his lead. It's now 1.7 seconds to the driver behind. And I think sort of our Henson on the back of Rick is still our closest fight, although Hazard has gone round the outside there of the Aston Martin and Malthret. So Malthret still keeps that inside line and the outside line, and doesn't quite hold on to it. In fact, has a little mistake there, and that could possibly open the doors for Bergen to get past once they hit this long straight. Though I don't think he's quite got the ability. I think a little bit of ERS there used by Malthret has taken that threat away.
Was that a pun?
Perhaps.
I could hear it in your voice. That was a pun, and I enjoyed it. It was as awful as your puns usually are, but I still enjoyed it. And someone who is enjoying, did you like that segue?
Yeah.
This race is Mr. Cookie, who's going to set. Thanks. I was going to say he set the fastest lap. Sim guy goes and takes it. Who is looking cooped up behind Bluebird, looking like Mr. Cookie and Sim guy. And I was going to say live, but obviously he's spun. Maybe have the pace over Bluebird, although Bluebird is closing in a little bit on his brother. And as we were talking about setups, it does definitely look like Mr. Cookie has a lower downforce setup than the guys maybe behind him. So he'll be hoping to keep it in a straight line and put away on the straights, as Sim Guy has set the fast to sector 1, and we'll be hoping to get past Bluebird ASAP.
Yeah, well, I think that sim guy must be trying to put loads and loads of pressure on Bluebird, hoping for possible spin. Also, notably, the rain has stopped, so the track is now just damp. It's still wet, but it is rapidly drying at this point. I can only imagine that these intermediate tyres won't last much longer. Obviously, such a long track as well. We've only got 22 laps around here. It's that long of a track, whereas other tracks we get 32, and I think at Monaco we get 38, which shows you just how much of a difference it is. And what's happened there? Oh, I
Looks
just...
like Sim Guy made a little move on Bluebird.
Yeah, I think
but
he went
didn't
for it
work out.
very briefly, but it hasn't quite pulled off. Though, that shows that Sim Guy's got intent to get past, and he wants it badly. So we'll keep on top of him for now, though. Our Henson right on the back of Blair could possibly see a move happening there soon as well. Well, I would show you. I actually have a tire thing made, and I'm gonna wait until it gets dry, because then it's actually perfect, because it kind of doesn't have intermediate and wet on it, so that's kind of a shame. But nevertheless, once people do start, thinking that slicks are the right way to go, what do you go for? Do you just go for a set of hards and try and finish it? Do you go for mediums and hope for a possible late safety car? I think the mediums could possibly last to the end if you're like Sergio Perez.
If you're Sergio Perez, then maybe. But I think for these maybe slightly less talented sim drivers, it might be a push. Mediums to the end. Although, obviously, with the rain, the tyre wear is going to be a little less heavy. Obviously, long lap, and tyres put under a bit of pressure. Yeah, it's interesting because you could go any number of ways as Life Bar picks up a 3-second penalty. You can go any number of ways. I imagine they'll want to probably stop again, because you're taking hard to the end. That's a super long stint. As Sim Guy has just punted
He's got him to the wall. That means he's going to lose out to Jack Alaco and Rick, as it's raining at Pouon. Right, okay. So it's raining at
Pouon.
It was raining at Pouon, and it's raining on the run down to turn 3. So I think what's happening is because it's such a long track, it's raining in some parts and not in others.
Interesting. Well, that's beautiful realism from Codemasters there. So
I know.
But yeah, obviously drying up, and as I was saying, yeah, probably you're going to be looking at one more stop, maybe a hard medium, a medium soft. If you really want to push it, looks like we've had a Williams spin or an Alpine spin. Yeah, you really want to push it, as Rick is looking to make a move on Jackalacco into the bus stop chicane. Thinks better of it as Mr. Cookie comes into the pits. As does everyone else.
I think everybody else has decided that, you know what, it is now. It's changing tyre time. Only Blair stays out, who's actually gone set the fastest lap. So he's still quite comfortable on these. Speaking of, considering the fact that we've now got everybody, they are our tyre compounds to choose from. We have a lovely soft tyre, which I imagine no one will be going on. I don't think soft tyres are really the way to go. It is a majorly medium group. Most people have gone for the medium tyre. Interesting choice. I was expecting a couple more hards. Lifebout's gone for the hards. That Sim guy's gone for the hards. Pink Eye's gone for the hards. Everyone else that is mediums. Mouth Threats has gone onto a fresh set of intermediates. Interesting choice.
Okay. Well, strange one from him. Maybe 8,000 IQ. Maybe it's just a little bit dumb. But I would go.
He's actually gone and made a move on that Sim guy as well. He's on intermediate. He's on fresh inters, and he's got and made a move on someone on fresh legs. So you never know.
He knows a lot more than we do currently. But yeah, I would say.
Oh, he's at the wall.
He's just pinned it.
Oh no, he's still going. I was still on board with him. That was quite interesting.
So was I, and I never like to see a driver crash, but for comedic timing, that was beautiful.
That was pretty beautiful.
Yeah, strange one. I guess you could do medium, which is probably what the guys are thinking. But long lap, so you're pushing it here. You're really pushing it. So maybe hards is the more conservative. We'll have to see. Obviously, we're up in the commentary booth or the virtual commentary booth, so we don't know what the tyres are going to be like, whether they're going to wear quick or slowly, or we'll wait and see
Hmm.
as RJ Blair finally comes into the pits. So yeah, we'll have to see how the strategy plays out, and the hard runners were hoping.
Oh, sorry. Rick is going to go for a move on Jackalacco into the bus stop chicane. Gets the move done nicely. There was a little bit of contact just going through the middle of it. However, up to P4 now. Rick on a bit of a charge, actually. He's now up 4 places, up to P3 as Blair finally comes into the pits. Obviously getting off of those intermediate tyres and onto a set of slicks. But that is Rick up to P3. Mr. Cookie still in P1. Obviously hasn't been there the entire time, so no Grand Slams for him. However, he can get very, very close if he picks up fastest lap. Bluebird's still in P2, looking pretty comfortable at the moment. It's 2.7 seconds from his brother in the lead, with Rick another 5 seconds down. However, he's been a bit battling. Obviously, he started quite low, obviously P7. So to get himself up to P3, lap 7... do you think if he can really put his foot down, get a possible win?
I mean, he'll be hoping so. I don't know. We'll have to see how quick these guys are around the track. I know that both Cookie and Rick are fairly decent around this track. We don't know about Bluebird. Obviously, we've never seen him here before. But yeah, Rick has got a bit of work to do to catch up to at least Bluebird in P2. And Mr. Cookie's the guy who's going to be really gunning for. Obviously, that's the guy who's directly behind him in the championship. And a win for Mr. Cookie, as well as a pole, will probably put him on top. So yeah, Rick is going to have to get his foot to the floor and really close in that gap, and hopefully use some of this new fresh DRS that we've been blessed with.
Yeah, that should be opening. Is it opening now, or is it just come on?
No idea, but it sounded good.
Yeah, I mean it would be very helpful. I think it might open within maybe this lap or next lap. It might be that we need 3 racing laps because they are our first 3 of dry. I'm not too sure whether that's the case or that. Lifeboat, either way. Sorry, Blair is having to go very defensively as he almost cuts off Lifeboat there from making the switchback move, which opens I'm a Wild Matt to get himself past Lifeboat, though they are going to go side by side down into turn 1. Mercedes on the inside of the track, both have DRS, so both going down at the exact same speed. It's going to be a really good corner for the Mercedes, who does manage to get himself past Lifeboat and almost up in the way of Blair. They went side by side just out of the corner. Though Blair did get the slightly better exit, though, with a long straight. And oh, it's a very poor Rouge and Rally on for him, which is possibly going to open Lifeboat for the move. However, with DRS wide open, it's going to be a lot harder for him to achieve it. Though Lifeboat's still coming down the inside, he is going to go for the move. He's going to have the inside line at turn 5. He does get it done happily and prevents that switchback from occurring. So I'm a Wild Matt holds in 8th place. So after all of that, nothing's changed. Great.
No. Great battling from the guys, but it meant nothing, so that's nice of them. And you'd imagine, even at this stage in the season, this is pretty crucial for Lifeboat's championship. If he wants any chance of closing up, he needs to really jump up a few positions, and that's going to be tough, especially with the hard compound tyres and the 4.7 gap ahead of Blair up to our Henson. So yeah, he really needs to get his foot down. And yeah, it looks like Rick is closing up to Bluebird, although Bluebird is dropping off the back of his brother. So Mr. Cookie looking very good for his 3rd ever win right now, and he'll be hoping to keep out the walls, which would be a very Mr. Cookie thing to do. But yeah, hopefully for him, he can control the throttle and bring it home.
Well, this fight for P6 is looking rather intriguing. Obviously, nothing's happened for about half a lap now, but they are very, very close together as there goes Rick with the fastest lap of the race. A 46.9, so down into the 46s now. It was 55s when it was wet, so the track speed has rapidly increased. Thing is in this situation, Lifeboat's got such a good defense on him. I don't think he's going to be able to hold on for much more, but he's kind of preventing anybody. He's kind of keeping Blair in P6, keeping him in P7. And because he has DRS, although that's a very good run from him, he's going to open up the corner nice and wide. Going to get a really nice slipstream on Blair, who's going to go to the inside to try and defend. It's not going to be very useful because that's Lifeboat round. So basically, as I say, Lifeboat is making it almost impossible to pass Blair. And for anybody to pass, he goes and does it. It's kind of like a positive commentator's curse.
Yeah, nicely done. Nicely done from you. Obviously, we do love a good commentator's curse on here. Just looking at warnings from the top 3, we have Mr. Cookie, who is currently on a fat 0 warning, so he is looking
Lovely.
lovely right now. We've got Bluebird, who has 2 warnings and I believe a penalty. I think whilst I was on the
He
race director, he has
does.
picked up a penalty.
He does
So
have a
not great from
penalty.
him.
It is a 3 seconds.
3 seconds, so that is going to probably really compromise
Oh,
the
sorry.
race.
There goes round Blair. He's spun it. Sorry,
Ah.
I was just watching Blair and he's gone.
That is a real shame for him. He was battling in P6, I want to say.
Yes.
So yeah, he was having a really good race. But that does help Life out massively. He can push on now up to the back of our Henson, he'll be hoping. And maybe onto the back of Jackalaka as well, who's not too far up the road. Yes, and as I was saying, Bluebird has a penalty and Rick is on 1 warning, I believe. So yeah, first and third looking pretty, and Bluebird in second has got a bit of work to do to keep that gap at 3 seconds and secure his podium.
Well, the thing is if Rick kind of catches up to Bluebird, with Jackalako staying at the same kind of pace, well, that's a 7-second gap. Obviously, I think Bluebird, as of right now, comfortably still on the podium, not very comfortably in P2. Our Henson, as well, is going to be the man to go into P4 as he comes into turn 5 much, much faster. And down the inside he goes, though Jackalako is still keeping his nose in there through the second half. However, does eventually concede the position. Doe could possibly go down the inside here. Had a little look, but didn't decide to go for it. So our Henson, after a couple of laps of sat behind Jackalako, has finally been able to go for the move and has made it stick. Question is, can he keep hold of it?
We'll wait and see. Our league owner, that Sim guy, who's gone from P3 to having a bit of a stinker down in P10. He is 2 seconds away from anywhere else. So yeah, not great for him and on the hard tyres, so at a bit of a pace disadvantage. And further down the field, we have Pink Eye, who started last, who has not made up a whole lot of positions, but yeah, he'll be hoping to make up maybe a few more, though he is 6 seconds behind the back of Smithy, who is 2 seconds behind the back of Air Blake, who's 2 seconds behind the back of Sim Guy. So not particularly exciting down the back of the field. And yeah, our attention is maybe on that 5th to 9th battle, where they are looking a little bit closer.
Yeah, it is. It's looking pretty decent at the moment. I'm a Wild Matt dropping off the back of Lifebout a little bit here. However, Bergen and Hazard still very much in there, and that Sim Guy is closing down actually now, just 1.4 seconds since we last mentioned. And these drivers have been sort of kept in the same positions for a little while now. I don't think they really want to risk all that much, and obviously it being a DRS train has doesn't help really, because people just can't overtake one another. However, I think it's this Mercedes, I'm a Wild Matt and Bergen. Speaking of, I'm a Wild Matt's had a very good race so far, hasn't he? He's got himself, I say that, he's just been overtaken by Bergen. But nevertheless, he started P19 or P20, I can't quite remember which one. I know that he had the penalty, but I don't know whether it made him last or not. Either way, he's up to P8 as of right now. So it's still a very good... Oh, he could have P7 here, actually. He's going to go down the inside, but he is going to have the outside for this corner. Keeps it going. Gets the move done. Lovely turn around the outside at No Name. It's not a very common place you see overtakes getting done. He's gone and got the job done nicely there, hasn't he?
That was a beautiful move. Obviously a man with confidence. Maybe saving off a bit of energy from not doing a qualifying. Yeah, so he's doing very well up from P20, as you said. So confident around this track, and yeah, maybe looking to push up to Lifeboat ahead of him, who's on the hards. And we have a yellow, and it looks like Tommy has spun at turn 6.
Yes, yeah, that is Tommy.
Taking him beautifully down to last, and a good chunk off the back of the pack. So not a great race from him, and he might have to endure another 10 laps of loneliness, which is sad to see from my former teammate. So I feel sorry for him.
And by the looks of it, front wing problems. It was a very, very heavy understeer. Oh, yeah, no, there isn't a front wing. That'll be why there's a lot of understeer. There just isn't one. Hazard and Berger. Oh, this fight is just getting closer and closer. That Sim Guy now fully joined it with I'm a Wild Matt leading this sort of pack of 4. from 7 down to 10th. Definitely been sort of the closest racing of the entire lot. Hazard there picking up a 3-second time penalty, just for multiple warnings. And I think these guys have probably produced the best racing this entire time. There goes Bergen for P7. Though, brakes way too late. Completely opens the door for Imar Wildbat to sneak it up the inside. And he's done just that. So, Bergen a little bit overconfident there with that move. He had the move basically sealed and signed. However, doesn't quite pull it off in the end. And just behind them, that Sim guy and Hazard having a little bit of a scrap. That Sim guy manages to get himself up to P8 as Bergen's had something wrong with him. He's dropped all the way to P10.
Yeah, had a nice little spin whilst you were commentating over him. I don't know if he was hit from behind. Looked like he might have just lost it by himself, which is a shame for him. But up at the front, Rick is really closing in on Bluebird. Obviously, at the moment, doesn't have to. I mean, if he doesn't want to, he doesn't have to overtake Bluebird to secure that P2. But I know Rick, he'll be wanting to get past Bluebird and get up to the back of Mr. Cookie and take his first win of the season. Pink Eye picks up another 3-second penalty, which is going to compromise his race. But yeah, Bluebird is a little bit down on ERS as well. So he's, for whatever reason, has burnt quite a lot and has about 40% less compared to the guy in front and the guy behind. So yeah, he needs to put a bit more work in if he wants to salvage a win or P2 from this race.
Yeah, pretty much. Jackalacco as well. Jackalacco's and our Henson have been together for such a long time now. Obviously, Jackalacco spent the first few good laps in front. Our Henson then swapped over, but didn't really pull away. Jackalacco just 3/10 behind. Speaking of, I've picked the perfect time to start looking at them again because Jackalacco's launched one down the inside at turn 5. It's got the move made. That's the Alfa Romeo up into P4. So Jackalacco currently leading the Alfa Romeos here, which is something we weren't expecting after qualifying. Either way, though, our Henson still very, very angry on the back by the looks of it. Basically spending half the time through those collection of corners on the basically attached to the gearbox of the Alfa Romeo. So it's not going to be long, is it, before he tries to come back at least. And these two drivers have been racing really fairly as well. I haven't seen them collide yet through quite a few battles. They've very, very similarly matched on pace. It's been a good battle to watch so far.
Yeah, it's been nice and clean, which is always good to see. And one thing I was thinking about whilst you were so eloquently talking was Lifebound and Sim Guy, obviously on the hards, but maybe, well, I'm not very good at maths, but maybe 15 odd seconds behind the leader. As Rick looks like
yeah, Mr. Cookie and Bluebird into the pit lane. So they've decided to switch to a fresh set of, by the looks of it, medium tyres. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're going for mediums. Rick will have to see whether he comes in the next lap, puts another set of mediums, maybe stretches it out, goes for softs. But what I was thinking about, yeah, was the two hard runners who are, do you know what, completely scrap that because they're not even ahead of Mr. Cookie. So
however, Lifebout's 3/10 behind, but...
Oh, okay, I'll take it back again then. So we'll see if he can get past, but even if he does get past behind...
He's fast. He's got DRS. I think he's got this move made. Yeah, there you go. That goes Lifebout up into P4. Passes Mr. Cookie. Fresh out the pit lane. However, it's worn hards versus fresh mediums. How long is Lifebout theoretically going to be staying in that position before Mr. Cookie can actually get some temperature in his tyres and give him the go?
Yeah, you'd imagine maybe up the Come Straight next lap. Yeah. So I was going to say that maybe, well, definitely not now because Lifebout's just picked up another penalty. I was going to say that potentially they could long it out, maybe go for the one stop, but at the moment, yeah, not looking great for them. So they'll be hoping to pick up the pace as we've had looks like RJ Blair has DNF'd at Eau Rouge. There we go, got a name right. But that has not brought out the safety car. So yeah, it's a strange one. I can't see what's happened to him. Yeah, that's a shame for him. He was having a very good race, fighting with his teammate and the rest of them in P6 and 7. As Tommy almost spins it into the bus shop chicane. So he's having a bit, 1 minute and 16 seconds behind. He's having a bit of a stinker.
Well, Rick is into the pit lane just now, and so is Jackalacko and our Henson. So the top three as of right now into the pits. Has Mr. Cookie got the undercut of dreams? I think so. He is just coming across the start-finish line now and into turn one. Gets the move made. On Lifebout, we'll probably use a fair bit of ERS to try and break that gap, and I think that is going to be just fine. Rick, however, comes out P6 with Bluebird in P5 on the hard tyres. So it's been a big win for these couple of drivers who have got quite a big gap on Bluebird and Rick. Or Bluebird now going around the outside of Wild Matt, down the Kemmel straight, move made, easy as can be. So Bluebird up into P4, Rick P6, Jackalacko and R. Henson 9 and 10th respectively. Yeah, that's the right word, isn't it? Respectively.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So the hard tyres are proving to be sort of obviously got themselves in front for now, but medium tyres a lot faster. Question is, do they have the overtaking abilities to get themselves past?
We'll have to wait and see. One man this has worked out perfectly for is our friend Mr. Cookie, who is currently 8 tats out in the lead with fresh mediums and a clear track ahead of him. So he's looking very pretty. I imagine his tyres are beautifully warmed up now. And his championship rival, main championship rival back in Rick, in P7, and he's got quite a few cars to get through if he wants any chance at getting Mr. Cookie in P1. So yeah, Mr. Cookie having a whale of a time right now and making good on his redemption, as we said from last year.
Yeah, well, you got to say, if a track absolutely hammers you, you've got to hammer a track, and he is doing just that. That is definitely not a saying that I've just made up.
I've never heard that.
Definitely
it,
not.
It was good. It kind of made sense to me.
Yeah, actually, for once, I said something that made sense. Unbelievable. Either way, our Henson and Jackalacko still very close to one another. These guys are absolutely unrelentless with each other. I don't think they've dropped below a second for a solid 10 laps now. They have stayed within about half a second for, I think, about 90% of those 10 laps. Either way, through Eau Rouge. God, yeah, they are. They're two very close drivers. Rick does get past I'm a Wild Matt as well. That was kind of expected. Bluebird got through same place lap before. So that's him guy as well, right on the back of Bluebird. So Bluebird's managed to get himself past there. With Rick another 2 seconds back from them. So Rick at the moment struggling a little bit, getting through, I want to say, the traffic. It's not technically traffic because they are actually racing for one another. Racing, you know, it's not blue flags. But at the same time, you know, it's a little bit traffic, isn't it? Because they are considerably slower on those hard tyres.
They are as slow as back markers. They might as well be traffic. We've seen, yeah, Rick breeze past I'm a Wild Matt, and I watched Bluebird breeze past Sim Guy, who is on the back of him again now, looking to maybe be dragged along by Bluebird. Obviously 10 lap old mediums. Push or go, is that a saying?
I don't know.
Touch and go. Touch and go, that's the one.
Yeah, touch and go.
We're both having a bit of a struggle with sayings today. Touch and go, whether Bluebird and Lifeboat actually can make it to the end on these 10 lap old hards. They'll be hoping they hold out, no punctures, as Rick sets the fastest lap of the race.
Bluebird isn't on old hards, he's on fresh hards. 3 laps.
Bluebird is, did I say Bluebird? I meant Lifeboat.
Yeah. Lifeboat and Sim Guy are on 11 laps.
Yeah, Lifeboat, who is keeping up pretty well with Mr. Cookie. Still
within the
not
second.
Not in DRS range. Still within a second, though, as we have a Williams, it looks like, who's spun. But yeah, keeping up pretty well with him, pulling away from Bluebird and Sim Guy behind, which is pretty impressive considering the tyre difference.
Who's that? That's Aero. Blake's just leaving the pit lane as well. R. Henson's still on the back of Jackalacko. Nothing's changed there. Rick really close to the back of Sim Guy as well. I think this move could be made in the next couple of corners, if not next lap.
Yep, although Sim Guy is not going to want to let Rick through. Obviously, Sim Guy will still believe he's fighting for the championship, and every point counts. So don't expect Rick to breeze past him. Although now that I've said that, he's definitely going to breeze completely past him. So apologies to Sim Guy for jinxing him.
Well, Sim Guy can do all he can. However, the tyre difference is big, isn't it? I mean, it's almost, you don't want to say it's inevitable because obviously Rick could absolutely bottle it around any one of these corners, and Sim Guy just gets away happily. However, if it carries on the way it has, I can't see Rick not getting past down this Kemmel straight. I know Sim Guy will still have DRS, though he could get it done here at the bus stop. He's got a really good run through that corner. Has a little look. Decides against it. Sim Guy has a pretty poor corner. So a possible switch back on for Rick here. He's going to switch to the inside. Does exactly as what I was expecting him to. So he'll have the outside line for turn 1. They are going to go side by side into turn 1. However, Rick with a lot of grip should be able to keep it going, and he does get the better acceleration out of the corner. So that is Rick up to P4 in, I guess, quite an unusual manner, but at the same time, really capitalised there off of that Sim Guy's mistake. He braked just that little bit too late into the bus stop chicane, and he's paid the price for it.
Sim Guy is going to get DRS, sorry. Oh, I was going to say...
I was about to say, so does Rick.
Luckily, yeah, Rick gets it off Bluebird, so that saved his bacon there. Yeah, Lifebound looking... really good at the moment for a P2 out of kind of nowhere. 3 seconds ahead of the guy behind him, who has a 3-second penalty as well. So Rick.
Oh, life bounce on 6 seconds.
Life bounce on 6 seconds, of course he is.
Does that change?
Okay,
Does that
scrap that completely?
I guess that would probably push him down to what, P4. Sim Guy gets pushed down even further because he's 6 seconds as well.
Sim Guy has just picked up one, so that saves life bar a little bit. Yeah, and Mr. Cookie has just broken the 1 second from life bar. So yeah, looking really good for Cookie at the moment. He'll be hoping just to keep it clean, keep it steady, and bring home this win. And what would I imagine be a championship lead?
Yeah, I believe so. Have a little look. I forget. We have a very...
And his first time ever leading the championship, I believe.
It probably would be as well, wouldn't it? I mean, well, yeah, because he's never won the first race of the season, so he can't get that holding win. Although I do forget, our point system is different, isn't it? It's interesting.
Yeah.
It is strange.
Results. By the way, Rick system. On the back of Bluebird at the moment, looking to make the move. 35% ERS compared to the Bluebird's 22%. Bluebird has dumped a little bit and pushed up a little bit further down the track, so Rick will be maybe looking to save it for another lap, although Bluebird has made a mistake up Radion. So we'll see whether he wants to make the move now or later. Further down the field, our Henson and Jackalacco are best friends at the moment and refuse to leave each other's side. Our Henson looking just to sit behind at the moment, doesn't need to do anything because Jackalacco has a penalty.
Rick's going for it. He's going to have the inside line here at Bluebird, though he had a little wiggle. He tries to keep it inside, though Bluebird still keeps it around the outside. I've brought up the point scoring system. P1 picks up 25, P2 picks up 22. Well, as of right this second, Rick is actually sat in P2. So with a 5-second gap, a 5-point gap between them, it doesn't quite bring Cookie into the championship lead, but he brings him close. Then that closes down to a 2-point gap between them.
Then you do have the 2 points for pole.
That's a very good point.
I believe would take them level, and then
that would take him level. So fastest lap could.
Who has the fastest lap at the moment? I believe it's Hazard.
Have a little look. Is it still Hazard? It's Rick. Rick currently holds the fastest lap. So Rick, on the fastest lap technicality, holds currently, as of right now, as the championship stands, currently holds the win still at the moment.
Although I have done some fantastic camera work and gone straight down to I'm a Wild Matt, who is on softs and has just set the fastest sector 2 and looks like he's going for a fastest lap push. So I'm going to bet my reputation on the fact that I'm a Wild Matt takes the fastest lap now, and if he doesn't, I'm going to be greatly disappointed.
Well, he comes across the line and he does not.
Okay. Cheers,
Let's see, how close was he? It was a 45.7, Rick's 45.5, so he was 0.2 off.
Okay.
Oh, as I say that, Rick's finally gotten himself past. Oh, they've collided!
Ooh.
Rick and Bluebird collide at turn 5. I don't think either have picked up significant damage. However, Bluebird will get back on track nice and quickly in comparison to Rick, and they somehow get away with not losing any positions whatsoever. I guess that is the only positive, although I think by the looks of it, yeah, Bluebird is going to let Rick through. Clearly thought that, you know what, this is my fault. I'm going to give it away. However, the important part of that is Rick is now P3 on penalties, because obviously he's just lost a load of time to lifeboat. So that now puts Rick on 20 points from this race, which does give Mr. Cookie a 1-point lead.
Yep, that's saved Lifeboat's bacon a little bit there. He's somehow picking up a P2 at the moment. He'll be hoping just to keep it steady. But yeah, didn't see what happened there. Looks like maybe Bluebird has a bit of damage, or whether he just let Rick through because he thought it was his fault. We'll have to wait and see. I'm sure the stewards will have loads of fun with that. But yeah, that's a shame for them both, because they were both having a really good race, and Rick making his way up from P8 or 7 or what. So yeah, and so it looks like someone's gone into the pits. That was Tommy. So he's only 35 seconds now down in last, so he's made up about a minute. So good going for him, although he has no front wing. So
okay, so I think Rick was going around the outside, and I think Bluebird's just come in a little aggressive and caught the rear right wheel of him that sent them both spinning round. So I think it might be Bluebird admitting, you know, this is my fault, and given that position back, which is nice of him.
It was nice of him, but obviously not nice of him to take Rick out in the first place. But what that does not do is give Rick back the P2. Oh, and Rick has almost spun it.
He's very nearly lost it there, hasn't he?
Very lucky from him. Yeah, doesn't give Rick back that P2, and more points lost in the championship. So yeah, that's a real shame for him, and not a shame for the two ahead of him, who are looking pretty comfy at the moment, just bringing home a P1 and a P2 as we are about to head on to the final lap in a couple of minutes, or a couple of seconds, or whatever it is. As Pink Eye picks up the fastest lap, so Rick doesn't even have that now.
Oh, that is a shame. So that now gives a 2-point lead for Mr. Cookie. Though I am saying this, like, I'm pretty certain it's a 5-point gap. So long as it's a 5-point gap, everything's right. I feel like it is a 5, or is it 78 to 84? It's 79 to 84, so yeah, it is 5 points.
Between Cookie and Rick after this?
No, so it's a 5-point gap as of right now. Rick's 5 ahead of Cookie going into this race.
So Cookie would pick up 27 and Rick would pick up 20 as it stands. So yeah, 2 points ahead.
2 points ahead. So
Very
really,
nice.
really good race for Mr. Cookie here, and a man who's not been confident at all in having a championship fight. Well, if he keeps hold of this and continues this lap, as he has every other lap, he will be leading the championship for the first time ever in BRL Season 3. However, I'm not going to talk about it too much like it's happened already, because it hasn't. And we all know what happens when you hype stuff up too much. So, with that, let's go and look at somebody else for the rest of the... Oh, everybody, there's no one next to each other. Absolutely nobody next to each other. The closest is Aero Blake to Hazard, and that's a second.
We've got SX Perry on the back
SX
of
Perry
fan,
on the
back
of Simon Barstafan. Right, we'll watch that.
I'm watching Cookie religiously to make sure he doesn't do anything stupid, and I will scream my head off if he does. But yeah, everything a bit spaced out now. Maybe a bit of an anticlimactic end to the race. But yeah, it's been a good one so far. I've really enjoyed it. And on man, oh my god, I thought Mr. Cookie dropped it there.
Oh,
that scared the life out of me. He looks like he is just cruising home, and it looks like Lifeboat behind him is cruising home as well, who is, yeah, looking good to pick up the P2 at the moment. Yeah,
unless he drops 3 seconds in sort of the next sort of 30 seconds. And oh, just to say that, SX Perry is just punting into the back of Simon Barstafan. I'm not quite sure who's to blame there, so I could say that Simon's brake checked and SX Perry's hit the back or whatever. I don't know. Either way, they've hit each other. Well, we'll look back because Mr. Cookie's just won. I was a bit late to that show, but there we go. Mr. Cookie, his 3rd win in BRL. Congratulations to him. And Lifeboat comes across in a comfortable P2. Rick in P3 and Bluebird comes across in P4. P4 with Jackalacco in P5 there. That then loses the place to our Henson because of the penalty. So our Henson comes in P5, Jackalacco P6. So the Alfa Romeos actually ended up being next to each other. Again, Jackalacco and that Sim guy P6 and P7. So Sim guy, pretty decent recovery from him after a not very good start. Would you agree?
I would agree, but in the wider championship context, a bit of a disaster from him today.
Yeah, down
Dropped,
3
dropped
positions.
points.
Big win so for I'm a Wild Matt. Up 12 places to P8. So last to 8th. So
Driver of the day?
yeah,
I think
I think it might have to be, you know. He's been in some really good battles all race that we've watched. Him with particularly Bergen and Hazard have had some really good fights throughout the race. And those obviously come from P20. You've got to give him credit where it's due, haven't you? He's driven a really solid race. And
12 positions up.
He'll be happy with that result after picking up that ban.
Indeed, yeah. So 0 to hero from him. Obviously, Rick up P4. Up 4 positions. Sorry. So started P7 up to P3. So despite the contact with Bluebird, still a really good race from him. But yeah, Mr. Cookie top of the pile. So yeah, he's getting used to this feeling now, isn't he? This is a 2 seasons of sporadic happiness, and it's like London buses. You wait for one and 2 come along at once.
Pretty much, yeah, isn't it? I mean, we waited until Britain in season 2, and then that's all we got. And then we've had 2 this season already, and we're only in round 5. I don't know what's happened, but he's clearly upped his game.
Maybe I don't know what I've left, and he's having a great time.
Yeah.
So yeah, happy for him.
Maybe
And,
maybe just when you were behind him, it just scared him into spinning. Who knows?
I don't know what. Yeah, he didn't need any.
Oh, he's lost all my respect.
The griddy.
He's griddying on the podium.
I saw that. I don't think he deserves the interview now, does he?
No, that's poor.
Oh well. Well, that's a shame. That's ruined the entire stream. So
That's ruined the entire stream.
Art has put a lot of effort into the graphic. You've done a griddy on the podium. So cheers, mate. But well done on the race. So yeah, good race. I enjoyed that. It was better than the last 2.
Mm.
On to, you know what? I have no idea where we are next.
Neither do I, to be honest. Let's have a little look. Calendar. Oh, we've got a week break. And then we're at Silverstone Sprint.
Silverstone Sprint. So that should be an exciting one.
Mm. Oh God, I have. Oh no, I can't say that, can I? I was about to do the exact same thing as I did last week, and then I've realised, that's what I was going to say last week as well, and I can't do that.
Don't do it. We've got to wait till Portugal. I don't know what is Portugal? What round is it?
Portugal, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh God, it's ages away.
It's ages away.
I feel like we've hyped this up so much that it's going to be such an anticlimax.
It's going to be a huge anticlimax. It really is.
Yeah.
Either way, should we do
listening?
A quick little race rundown? Mr. Cookie, very good win from him. Starts first, finishes first. Very solid. Lifebout P2, Rick P3, Bluebird P4, Henson P5, Jackalacco P6, Simguy P7, Wildmat P8, Hazard P9, Bergen P10, Aero P11, Smithy P12, Pinkeye P13, Simon Barser P14, Essex Perry P15, Tommy P16, and then the rest of DNFs in Blair, Mal, Hella High, and Jimmy Jags. So, overall, a solid amount of people finishing the race as well. I'm happy to see. 16 of 20 as well. Another full grid. I'm liking these full grids. We're getting a lot of them now.
Could you hear me? Could you hear a word I said?
No.
I had the I had the microphone up. I was eating popcorn. But yeah, no, really good to see full grids. They make the racing a lot better, and weirdly they bring out more safety cars, which is at the moment good for us. So yeah, cheers to everyone for turning up, and that was fun.
Yeah, right, okay, so let's switch back to that. I know obviously it's not soon anymore, it's been and gone. However, yeah, what's Rick saying? So comms, right? Yeah, I want you. Can you just put in, what's Bluebird set up? Bluebird sent me a message.
You need me to invite people to the party?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you just send them like a message on um the
Oh god, they've
chat
got to come into
saying,
Discord, haven't they?
yeah, tell him to come into Discord. Yeah, we're not in a
Right.
party, bro. We're not in a party anymore.
Forget. I forget. I'm so used to it.
Yeah.
Right. At Mr. Cookie.
Lifeboat and Rick.
Don't have these problems at Sky, do they?
No,
Drivers into.
no, they just kind of just walk along in this.
They're all over it.
But then again, they have like 50 people working for them, so
True.
like,
We have
I'll allow it.
two.
I'll allow it.
Cookie, Bluebird, and Rick. Is it?
Bluebird Cookie. Yeah, no, Lifeboat Cookie Rick, not Bluebird.
Lifeboat Cookie, Rick. Bluebird can get out. Oh, I've just deleted it all. Right, Mr. Cookie. At Lifeboat. And at Rick. Right, the message has been sent, so we'll wait for them. And yeah, I think everyone's
Lovely.
in shock for Mr. Cookie in the championship.
I know that is pretty mental, isn't it? I can't say I've ever seen that occur before, to be honest.
I know it feels weird to see, but yeah, really good to see. It's just been a really exciting season so far. We're having a great time. The BRL has finally come alive as soon as you got rid of me. So that's both nice and sad at the same time.
You gave Mr. Cookie a setup.
I did give Mr. Cookie a setup.
Is that the setup he's used?
Yeah, he's welcome.
Sim guy is shocked.
But I don't know why he's shocked because I've given Sim Guy a setup before. So he spun with it and Mr. Cookie didn't. So yeah, bad workman blames his tools, as they say. Look, we're getting all the phrases in today, aren't we?
Yeah. When did you send the message?
Yeah.
I actually can't see it.
Really?
Yeah. I might just be losing. Oh, there it is.
Right, we've got Rick in here, and Mr. Cookie is calming down and bracing himself for Steve the dog. I don't know what that means.
Have you not been in when Steve the dog has been mentioned?
I might have been, but I've forgotten it. I don't know what or who Steve the dog is.
Essentially, right, Steve the dog I don't actually really know the full story, but it's something that Jimmy Jag always asks us to ask Mr. Cookie or Bluebird about Steve the dog. And apparently they have a dog, it's just not called Steve. And apparently for some reason it is called Steve, but it isn't. I don't really know.
Right.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Jimmy Jags. Ask about Steve the dog.
Oh,
What a surprise.
know about the pizza on the head. That's the
Oh,
one I know
pizza on
about.
the head. Yeah.
Pizza on the head. I didn't know there was Steve the dog. I know about the pizza on the head. We've never got a
We've
we've
never
never
got
got
an
an answer
answer.
to the pizza on the head.
Honestly, I've
Um,
asked so many times and I just
the,
get a laugh.
the more it goes on, the more I want to know.
Yeah, literally. It's like this
Uh,
new, the Waffle House has found its new host.
yeah, exactly. We are. Yeah, it's a strange question, and maybe not what we should be talking about. But
Hmm.
yeah, we're waiting on Mr. Cookie. So should we maybe start with
Yeah,
Rick
well,
or
we'll start with
Lifeboat?
third as usual. Rick, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
A bit annoyed, but
Mm-hmm. Understandable.
fully knowing that I will get second place if I report something. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried about that.
Mm-hmm.
Bluebird has accepted that it was his fault. He has said it to me
Yes. Oh,
personally.
yeah. That's something else I need to mention. I have got a message from him saying, "Please tell Rick in the interview I'm sorry. There's not much more I can do apart from apologise." So he, yeah, definitely understands that it is his fault and has obviously paid the price for it. But other than that incident towards the end, how was your race?
Um, I messed up my first lap in qualifying, which
Mm-hmm.
um then gave me one lap, which I always do 2 laps, and
Mm-hmm.
my last lap wasn't that good for sector 1 and early sector 2. Um, so I started 7th, made good progress in the rain. Went to the slicks at the right time, and basically had good pace from there. Made some good moves, overtakes, and I honestly thought if Mr. Cookie would have a penalty, I'd have won that easily.
Yeah. Well, as it stands, obviously at the moment, you are now P2 in the driver's standings with these results that we've got right now. Obviously,
Would
if
be equal now.
I think if you get pushed up to P2, you go equal. It's only because Mr. Cookie got those pole points, so he's got an additional 2 points on his 25,
Oh
so
yeah,
he's up to
true.
27. Which now puts him 2 points ahead of you. Obviously, then if you do say that you get up to P2, then that goes level. So obviously that means no matter what the situation is, you're still not winning the championship. And going into a week break, is that a problem for you, or do you think, look, I can just have a week break, sort myself out, and get myself back winning races?
I don't mind it. I've been pretty busy lately, so good to not have to do something on Wednesdays. Just be able to do what I want.
Yeah, no, fair enough. But at the same time, are you still in a position to say, you know what, you're still going for the championship win, or because we're only on round 5 of 15 here?
I mean, of course, I'm equal in the championship for P1. Why would I not be? So, I was closer to the championship this season than I was last season. So
Very good point. Jay Horse, you got any questions?
What was it that is going to bring you up to P2? There's obviously life battle ahead of you. Did he do something that we didn't see?
you'll see in the
We'll
reports
see.
now.
Well, please tell us now. Makes the stream more interesting.
Should I?
Yeah, you should.
Yeah.
We're all
Okay.
friends here.
Well, Jails, you've done this before.
I know what it is. Yeah, I bet he fucking did he go over the white line or something?
But basically full car over
Oh,
the pit entry
Jesus.
line.
I
I wasn't going to use it, but Bluebird made me. So life out, blame Bluebird.
Rick, you're so fat.
No, no. I'm just not.
Oh, right. Well, in that case, do you want to do your 3-word race roundup?
I swear.
Don't, but like,
You can, but you get a race ban.
yeah, just kind of like, what's the word? Infer it.
Okay. Got no clue. Good to meh.
Good to me. Right. Okay. I think we all understand what that means. Well, either way, podium nevertheless, and it's still a really strong position in the championship. Looking at a week break, and then you've got Silverstone back as a sprint. Are you looking forward to that?
Not at all. Although I think my race pace is better. Which the sprint does help in, but I don't like Silverstone at all. It's one of my worst tracks.
Oh, well, fair enough. Either way, congratulations on the podium, and we'll
Thank
be
you.
seeing you in a fortnight's time.
Yeah, see you then.
See you later. Alrighty, so shall we move on to P2, life bout?
Yep.
It was a start P2, a finish P2. Are you happy with the result?
Well, considering what happened at the beginning, yeah, I think I didn't expect a podium. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so it was the alternate strategy from you, wasn't it? You decided to go onto a set of hard tyres and ran to the very end. How confident were you in making that decision?
Pretty confident. I was surprised everyone went for the double medium. But yeah, in the end, it worked out. I think I don't know if it was. I think it was faster, but yeah. And if I didn't get damage, I think it was when I spun lap 2 or 3. If I didn't get damage, I might have had a chance at the win, but I don't know.
Well, either way, it's P2 at the moment. Are you confident in the fact that you're holding on to this P2 after your the recent news has broken?
Well, don't know. I have to see what Rick says.
If you've gone over the white line, you're not getting away with it. Trust me. Rick's all over this.
Well, yeah.
Either way, whether you've gone over the line or not, you've still got a podium position, which gives you some really strong and well-needed points in the championship. The question is, though, obviously you've not had the best of starts, but can we be seeing you here more often? And can we see you going up and fighting for some higher positions?
Of course. There's like 10 rounds to go, so it's a long season. Anything can happen.
And yeah, oh no,
it's
carry on.
definitely possible to come back.
Well, I'll ask the same about Rick. Obviously, week break, and then we're back to Silverstone for a sprint. Is that something you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I've never done a sprint before, so I don't know how it's gonna end out. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. My first sprint ever, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, fair enough. J-Horse?
No,
got anything?
nothing. I
Nothing?
think you covered everything. Happy days.
Should we do 3-word race roundup then?
I don't know. Maybe championship comeback continues.
Fair enough. Well, congratulations on the podium position, and we'll be seeing you in a fortnight's time.
See
you later. Well, shall we move on to today's race winner by a rather comfortable race win? Not quite the Grand Slam, but it was a very impressive race from Mr. Cookie. How are you feeling?
Just ask the question Jimmy put already, please. I want to get it over and done with.
Right, okay. Ask about Super Steve the dog.
What is it? Why is he super? I swear he comes up with this. Like, he spins a wheel, I swear. He spins a wheel and thinks, right, adjective, what one? Oh, this one. Okay, Super Steve the dog. There we go.
Oh,
this guy.
Then he was called Brisket and currently Billy. Who's Brisket and Billy?
They're the same dog. It's just like, it was never actually called. And they don't get it. They were never actually called Steve. It was called. These guys, man. Oh my. Okay. I mean, that's all I want to deal with today.
Right. Well, either way, it is start P1, finish P1. Our Henson seems to believe that you stay ahead because of races won, even if you do tie, if Rick gets pushed up to P2. So you are leading the championship. How do you feel?
I don't know. I mean, it's not happened. Of course I'm happy, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much of a margin yet as well, because it could be 2 points, it could be no points, but it's just held on by race wins from like 2-0. So, yeah, I really don't know at the moment. It's a bit mixed, but I think the week break helps, definitely, just to calm it down just a little.
Yeah. Well, speaking of post the week break, we go to a track that you know rather well, and you know how to win there because that was your first win. Am I right? It was Silverstone.
Yes, it was.
So, confidence, is it the highest, most confident track you've been to so far?
Not really. I mean, I feel like Silverstone is like a close second, I think. I mean, I think Singapore was probably the best, actually. I mean, Like it wasn't even just because of previous races there. It was just because of that race I did at the start of the season. It just clicked for me, I think. But I don't know. I don't really know how Silverstone's going to go, especially with the sprint, because it's in reverse championship order, right? I think.
Yeah.
It's either reverse. Yeah. So if it's reverse championship order, I'm most likely going to be starting last unless other people are going to join in. So like they're just reserves. So I don't know how it's going to go. I mean, I think all I've got to really do is just start as well as I can, just avoid contact. I think that's kind of what ruined me in the first few races. I mean, Australia, I've kind of got into a few too many fights and kind of lost out on the podium there. And kind of the same with Bahrain, just got into a few too many fights and they got span out. So yeah, I don't know. I think as long as I can just keep it calm and just keep it comfortable, I think, because I've still somehow managed to not spin this season, which doesn't feel right with me. It doesn't feel right because especially it's Spa, like I I span on full traction there on soft tires like last season, so I just don't know how I've managed to do it this year. So yeah.
So it's you're definitely feeling a little bit more confident this season, are you? Is going a little bit better?
Yeah, I think sometimes a practice sessions kind of like lure me into a false sense of security. I mean, I kept spinning a lot in the practice sessions. It just didn't make much sense. Like it felt like I was putting on the right throttle and everything, and it just span for some reason. But yeah, I think it kind of proves that the practice sessions weren't really that great for me. The race was, so I'm pretty glad with that.
Well, either way, being at the top of the championship, do you think now can you keep this form going and go for the win?
I'm going to actually check the calendar for this one. Let me have a look. I'm not too sure what the next few races are. Okay, we've got Silverstone, Austria, Zandvoort, Imola, and Portimao. I think the next 2, maybe 3 races, I think I'm going to be pretty good at. Silverstone, of course, being pretty good for me. We saw last season. Austria, I've done it in DRS before. I'm not too sure if I've won that one yet still, but yeah, I'm still pretty happy with how I go around Austria. But then, yeah, the next few tracks, Zandvoort, Imola, and Portimao, I've never like really tried those tracks on this game, so I'm not too sure how that's going to go. I think all I can really say is that in the next 2 races, I'm just going to do as best as I can, really, because I think those are some of my most solid tracks, and I just don't know with the next few, so may as well just try my best on the next few tracks and don't focus on the others at the moment.
Fair enough. With that, J Horse, you got anything to add?
Well, congratulations on leading the championship for the first time.
Thank you.
Apart from that, not particularly. Just yeah, I think Carter's already asked, but what do you think your chances are? Obviously, you have turned off full traction or turned off traction at all, haven't you?
Yeah.
So you're coming at it from a new direction, so we say. Yeah. Do you think you've got this in the bag? Do you think you can do this? And what do you think of the championship challenges around you? Do you reckon you can beat them?
I don't know at the moment. I mean, because I still don't fully know who is genuinely going to be good for the championship at the moment, because once again, we're only 5 races in out of 15, and I can't get too excited yet. Otherwise, yeah, other people might catch up. You've got Lifebout as well, who, yeah, still really fast. Rick's really fast as well. You know, you got a load of people who are just really fast, and you know, some are in like very close to me, others are a little bit further, but they've got the consistency. So I don't know. I want to try and just hold it on for as long as I can, because I feel like it's just a nice thing to have. As long as you know that you're leading the championship, you've got that, I guess, sense of comfort. Like you kind of know what you're getting into. You're not going to push all out like most of the time, really try and get into the championship lead like some other people might. I think it's just glad that I can just kind of sit in P1 and just know I can do the best I can, and that's all I can really do. I've really dragged this interview out, haven't I?
You
No,
have a
you've
little
done
bit.
beautifully well.
It's very good. We love elaborate answers here because it means we don't have to answer questions. We don't have to ask questions. So the more you
All right.
talk, the happier we are. Um,
The more we get paid as well.
yeah. Well, we wish we got paid. 3-word race roundup, perhaps.
I'm not sure here. Because there was like a lot that happened in the race, but like just nothing happened for me. I feel like once again it just kind of felt like a boring race. But I'm gonna put I think it's difficult to comfortable. I can't really think of much here. But that's just what I'm going to leave it as. I really don't know here.
Difficult but comfortable.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of like that. That's something you said quite a lot, J Horse. That it was like it was okay, but at the same time there was a bit of stress in when you
Mate,
were
the
racing.
3-word race views are terrifying. They're the worst bit of the race.
Yeah, honestly, sometimes I dread things on the podium just because it's either interviews and then I just go to the 3-word race roundup. It's like, what do I do? I don't know how my brain's
thinking of these. Yeah, I've been here for a year now. Surely you've like got the memo.
No, like
No.
you can't think of anything. Like if it's boring, even if it's exciting, like you have like one word there, but then you got the other two to fill out, and you just don't know what to put.
I think the best bit as well is that people still haven't got the memo that it kind of has to be like 3 words that make sense in an order.
Yeah,
rather than just choose 3 random words and slap it together.
Yeah, well, that was. I mean, the kind of idea is the full thing is the 3-word race roundup to describe your race and the race as a whole. So it was never really. It didn't have to be like a mini sentence or anything. That's just kind of how what it's evolved into. Like people used to say like crazy, weird, hectic, but now it actually has to make sense.
We should have a rule now that it has to make sense.
Well, no, I mean, either way, it still seems fine. I mean, if you just had 3 separate words, it's fine. And you just have like a mini sentence, that's okay as well, as long as it actually made sense.
Yeah. And so long as it actually related to the race. But yeah. Either way, congratulations to all 3 of you for your wins and your podiums respectively. I really hope that I'm saying that right. And yeah, we'll see you all for Great Britain.
Ooh, see you later. 2 weeks.
You later.
See you later, mate.
Alrighty, J Horse. We need to do some rounding out.
We do indeed.
We do. Would you like to do the honours?
I'd love to. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, thank you everyone for turning up. This has been a exciting race, which is more than we can say for the last 2. So happy days. Yeah, everyone, thank you for racing or turning up or tuning. What's the word? Tuning in to the stream. And we will see you not next week, but the week after for what should be a cracker around Silverstone with a sprint and a normal race.
And on top of that, I hope you've enjoyed the new production quality.
Indeed.
I have been so excited to do this since I got my Elgato on Sunday. I'm definitely thinking about making a couple more graphics, especially like one for interviews as well. And yeah, if I don't know actually whether anybody is still here right now, but if you are and you are on BRL, if you want some graphics, ask, and we will try and deliver. But other than that, see you all for Great Britain.
See you later.
Bye.